This world is it seems like it's on the brink of extinction. Do you get that? Do you get that feeling sometimes? Uh, Total chaos is not too far. It's already here. It's total chaos, total nonsense with this election thing and everything being delayed. And if you've been remotely even paying a little attention, they basically told us this was going to happen. Weeks, months, years. They told us back when Trump won 4 years ago about fraudulent voting, mail voting and all this stuff, right? They were telling you it was going to lead up to this point. They always do. That's what I see. That's what I believe. They can't, like, the devil's so prideful that he has to like give you a piece of truth in plain sight at all times. Like, he can't do anything else. But he has to mix it with lies, though. So they do that in their movies and television shows, cartoons. It's all in there. Just so many. It's like limitless, bottomless pit. They tell you, they really do. They get a whole entire society ready for a major event. They did that with 9/11. As soon as the so-called thing happened, everyone believed that terrorists flew airplanes into the building with not a single shred of, no one saw anything. No one saw anything with their own eyes. They saw pixels that day of what very much looks like a CGI airplane going right through the building before it even puts a dent in it. It's like going through it. There's video of a reporter for one of the ABC Satan networks saying that the second building has been hit before it got hit, like 2 or 3 seconds before it hit. He said that and paused, and then the thing crashed into it. Pretty interesting, huh? It makes me wonder sometime what goes on in there, up in the high places, how much they know. These people are all actors, man. The vast majority would fall for it. If you got paid that much money to do something that simple, you would fall for it too. So would I, if it was up to our own power. If the Father wasn't in us, then we would have fell for it too. We would have whatever. Oh, that's a good offer. I'll do that. I think I'll work for the devil. That's all the media does is lie. Kind of like Trinitarians. That's all they do is lie, and they hold fast to that doctrine so hard. It's not even worth wasting your time commenting on any Trinitarians anything, because they won't hear, they can't listen. In our Creator's own perfect timing, he has to wake them up and draw them out himself. You can't do it. I can't do it. And it's usually they just step on you. And that's what I'm seeing. I'm understanding that parable of not casting your pearls to swine, because it actually affects you negatively when you don't follow that. When you cast your pearls to swine, it affects you negatively. They get you a little bit. Maybe they get you to get angry or be a little hateful for a few seconds, or it's a trap. It's a trap. That's a pretty serious parable right there. It's a pretty serious statement. Don't cast your pearls to swine, because they're swine. They're unclean. They're unbelievers pretending to be believers. That's what they are. You can't believe in some pagan deity that came from Satan and also be of the truth and be a true believer. They're not my brothers. Anyone who says they're a Trinitarian, you're not my brother, sorry, or sister. You have nothing to do with the truth. You can't hear from him at all. No way. No way that somebody in their mind and heart believes a pagan, satanic, three-headed beast God that doesn't even exist, that they hear from the Father. No, they don't. That's why they hang on to it so dearly, because Satan loves it. When you expose truth in these devils, those devils start jumping. They get really angry because they have that person. They captured him. So when he hears truth, it's like you're attacking the devils, man. You're attacking their so-called truth. And they get really angry and defensive. And they literally give you the verses that they were brainwashed to give you all their life over and over again. Like I could go 1, 2, 3. Here's what the Trinity will do. When you tell them this, they'll give you this verse and they'll explain it like this. Yeah, I understand their doctrine better than they do. You know, search all things, study all things. I understand it. You have to understand something to know it's a fraud and false and fake and lies. And that's how, you know, most of Christianity, they believe in that Trinity. They believe in a golden calf. You can't get to the promised land with golden calves on your back, you know. The Father didn't allow it, did he? Not even Moses entered the promised land, because why? Oh, he struck the rock. He never told him to strike it. And he like tapped it twice. I think the command wasn't even to touch the rock, just tell it to bring water out. That's it. But he hit the rock twice and said, I did this, you know. So he didn't follow the instructions, and he got a little, you know, that's, you might say, man, that's just not fair. He didn't enter the promised land just for that little thing. Pretty strict, isn't it? The standard's pretty high, isn't it? But who's going to teach that? Trinitarians are way off the mark. They're beyond Moses hitting the rock. They're way worse than that. It's way worse than that. So you can't inherit the kingdom. You know, that's why the scriptures are there for us to learn. Look, here's the picture physically. How many of them got to go to the promised land? Believing in idols and constantly complaining, and believing in pagan things and disobedience. No one that did that could do that. No one, not even Moses entered, man. Because look what I did. Look what I did. So pride, big sin then, isn't it? Pride. Look what I did. I'm your savior. I hit the rock twice and water came out, you know. And Trinitarians are prideful and arrogant as a whole, because you can't not be. You can't not be if you believe in devils and satanic paganism. No way. No way. And same with the globe earth, the people who hang on to this spinning globe, man, it's attached to so many other lies. They just don't want their world to crumble. They don't want to see the truth. They don't want to see that this world is wicked and deceived and run by Satan and it's evil. They want to love the world and be a part of it. You know, so they can't let go of these evil satanic doctrines, like the Trinity and the globe. You know, if somebody's of the truth, they should know this, man, because the truth has been poured out on this. Everyone who's of the truth should know that it's not a globe, that they lie about the whole entire creation, and it's a major lie. It's not a minor lie, it's major. It's connected to every other evil pagan thing that there is, and evolution and their Big Bang. Okay, the globe Earth is connected to that. So they're attached to what the world says is true, which is a bunch of wickedness, total denial of our Creator, believing the globe Earth is being connected to total denial of our Creator, because that's not His creation. It doesn't, that's why they have to brainwash you for decades. Right from school, you see globes in kindergarten, you see it on TV and television. You can't do anything else. You can't even think your own thoughts. They put those thoughts in you, and they brainwashed everyone what to say. They brainwash the whole world. If you call out any kind of evil, oh, you're anti-Semitic. You're anti this. You're in this group over here in this box. That's what they do. And the first thing they go for is John. The Word became flesh. They don't understand that. So simple. It's the Creator's words, not the Messiah's. When are they going to get it? They can't get it. They worship a false Messiah and some kind of false deity and pagan deity. It's the same spirit as Tammuz and Nimrod. Same spirit that's controlling these people. But they use the book, so it makes them look like they're of the truth. It's very deceiving. It's very deceiving. Because if they use the different book, well then, oh well, they're not of the truth. They don't believe in the Bible. But these people claim to believe in the Bible, but they don't. They don't believe in any of the teachings the scriptures actually teach. Hardly any. They don't even believe Messiah died. You think that's a joke? It's not a joke. They don't even believe he died. They don't believe he was the opposite of life for a time. Dead. They actually believe he was alive when he was dead. Therefore, they don't even believe the gospel that can save them. Therefore, they're not. You can't believe in a false gospel and have the truth and have him in you, have his spirit. You can't not believe that, you can't believe that he didn't die, when that's what the scriptures plainly teach. Now, are they going to say that? No, of course not. They're going to say, yeah, we believe he died. And you start asking them and cornering them, they don't believe he died. They believe he was alive. They believe he was alive in some dungeon under earth or something. Total paganism, speaking to spirits of the dead or something like this, Nonsense. Not a single teaching like that in scripture at all. And the reason why you're not supposed to get into witchcraft is because Satan has his minions, his messengers, okay, and that's who they are. That's who people contact, not spirits of the dead. They make contact with the devil himself. And the Father gives him power to do miracles, and I think that's what's going to be given in abundance in these last days. There's going to be some strange, crazy things people are going to see, and they're going to fall for it and believe it. This devil's going to be given power like he hasn't had in, I guess, a long time, maybe, because where did those Egyptians get that power to do those counter miracles? Where'd they get that power? Well, the Father obviously allowed them to have it, didn't he? So he's going to allow the devil to have power, work miracles, trick people, suck them in. They're not going to be able to discern between false spirits and true, between the truth and a lie. They probably believe those videos that show angels flying around everywhere. They probably got sucked in and believe that, and they make comments, oh, praise Jesus. You've been fooled. Total nonsense. Does that sound like our Creator to you? Um, you know, YouTube video gets thousands and thousands of views because he revealed one of his angels. What is that? What is that? Pride? Showing off? It's not leading anyone to truth. Believing or seeing videos like that doesn't lead anyone to keep his commandments. It's not even on their mind remotely. They just enjoy fantasy. It's not that the Father couldn't do that, but I don't believe that's happening, If it is happening, it's likely happening through the devil. But they don't pray or ask for anything or discernment, or so how are they going to know? They don't know. They'll just fall for every little trick. But his people don't fall for clever, crafty devices from the devil, which he has many tricks under his sleeve. There's probably no group that's more prideful and stiff-necked and stubborn than Trinitarians, man. I don't know that I've ever seen anyone more stiff-necked and prideful and contradicting. They're the masters of butchering scripture. Now I can see all their tricks and all their lies, but people fall for it. So I guess they're doing something right as far as tricking people and lying. They don't even have any reverence. They just, the Trinity. That's the Trinity there. It's talking about the Trinity. Oh, you don't believe in the Trinity? What kind of reverence is that anyways? They don't have any prayers that go up to the Father, truly praying to the Father, because they believe in the Trinity. That's why they don't believe in the true Creator. And there's many more lies that's attached to. That's not the only thing. They got many more lies, deception, Trinitarians that they believe, because they're full-blown pagan. That's why they believe in all kinds of other nonsense. So better not to waste time with them overall, for the most part, because I haven't seen anything good come out of it. I've only seen trampling the pearls, that's all. They just trample, run over. That's all that they're good at doing. And right away, their comments are pretty obvious, pretty prideful and arrogant. And they don't speak like believers, even remotely. You give them true scripture and you're just talking about scripture, and then they personally attack you and, keep talking to yourself, immature, hateful, prideful. That's who they are. So the trap there is that when they trample your pearls, the trap is that they want you to be just like them and attack them the same way they attack you. That's the trap. They want you to also say, keep talking to yourself, This is all over YouTube, man. Believers, so-called. I don't see any true fruit or anything good coming out of them. It's total nonsense. They're just going to suck you in and make you like them, so stay away from them. Stay far away from them. That's my best recommendation. Internet, real life, doesn't matter. They have nothing to do with the truth. That's what I've seen over and over again. Prideful, hateful, arrogant comments. And their minds are already made up, so they don't pray for the truth, and they know it, but they continue to act like they do. They haven't prayed for truth one day in their life, and I can take that straight to judgment right now. Not once. If they continue to go to those buildings and keep believing those doctrines, they never prayed for truth, not even once, from the heart. Not once. Because if they did, then they would have been woken up, slapped in the face. They would have seen it. and they would have come out of there, but they don't, because they don't ask. They already pridefully know everything and lean on their own understanding daily and other people's understanding. They never read the scriptures and study themselves and ask directly our creator for understanding. That thought doesn't even enter their mind. It doesn't even enter their mind. Whatever they need to know, they have to know it right away. So therefore they just believe whatever their preacher man tells them. Oh yeah, that's the truth. Oh yeah, celebrate Easter, the pagan fertility god Ishtar, rabbits having sex everywhere, laying eggs. That's what you believe in. That's what you celebrate. Okay. I know you haven't heard from the Father, that's for sure. It's more paganism connected to the devil. That's all. That's what Trinitarians are connected to. And they contradict themselves over and over. If they name anything that's a sin, it's a contradiction, because they say the commandments don't exist. They were all nailed to the cross. So it's really hypocritical and contradicting of them to even teach anyone what sin is when they don't know what sin is themselves. They don't believe in any of the scripture, okay? Don't be fooled by these people. They don't believe anything. They believe in their pagan religion, and they turn the Bible into a bunch of pagan contradictions. That's what they've done. And they teach the whole world their pagan contradiction, and even atheists have figured it out, that it's pagan and connected to pagan trinity gods and stuff. And they can't defend it either. They can't defend it. They're so deceived that they think they win those debates, and they actually lose them. That's how brainwashed and deceived they are. They think they win those debates against atheists. They lose. They haven't even done the research and study and history themselves, which anyone can do now pretty easily. Pretty easy to connect the dots to paganism, which that's what the Trinity is, pagan. One of the nastiest doctrines there is, because it's total denial of the one true creator. It's total denial of him, and it's exalting their pagan man that they believe in as God. It's exalting someone as the creator when that's not true. And anything that's not true is a lie, and a lie is from the devil. So it's satanic when they say that their Jesus is God. It's straight from Satan's serpent tongue. It's straight from the devil. And why are they so connected to that? This is true. I'm not making this up. They're attached to this. Their Messiah has to be God, or else their whole religion crumbles. Exactly. Because if he's not, their religion crumbles. That's why. That's why they're so hooked and attached to it. The devil knows this. Foul spirits in them know this. They have to keep them going and believing that a man created the heavens and earth. Because, if that's exposed, then, Satan loses them. And they start seeking truth. And that's the last thing that he would want anyone to do, is seek truth. So I maintain, as long as someone is in belief of that pagan deity, they can't enter the promised land. Find me one example of them entering the promised land with a bunch of pagan idols and stuff. Find me one scripture where somebody is blessed because they worship in pagan deities and pagan sacrifices and, pride, hate, jealousy, all these things, breaking the commandments. Show me one verse where he blesses you for breaking his commandments. It doesn't exist. But they think they can just break the fourth commandment all the time and be of the truth. You can't. The devil already has you. You can't do that. And they willfully and arrogantly and pridefully do that too. So they know. They know. They don't keep his days. They don't want to either because they're of the devil. That's why only Antichrist would hate his days and hate his commandments. They point at the Roman Catholic Church for changing like one of the commandments and like taking one out, right? Something like that. When all of them take the fourth commandment out and wipe it out themselves, hypocrites, snakes, devils, liars, deceivers. They're in the pit right now, and they're going to go into a pit in the future. Who's brought that up? I haven't seen a single video in my life that said what I just said. Man, is the world void of truth. Total hypocrisy, pointing at the church. They're false. We're true. They take like the 10th commandment out or change it or whatever, whatever that deal is, and have 9.5 or 9 commandments. But we take the fourth one and blot it out completely. Come to us, snakes. Snakes. Rotten skunks. Unbelievable what they do. How can't anyone see that? Accusing them of breaking one of the 10 commandments, taking it out of the way when they do that themselves. All of them. All of them. And the ones that say that, well, we don't really break it because we go to church Sunday. Liars. Liars. You never go to church to keep the Sabbath. That's not true. And it's not on Sunday anyways. Totally pagan. Totally pagan. They don't care. They don't want to know the truth. They don't want to hear from the Father. They don't want to ask. Just like the Israelites said, no, I don't want to hear his voice. That scares us. All the thundering, then that's scary. We don't want to follow or hear the Father. Give us kings. Give us someone that can corrupt us. That's what we want. Who's learning from those stories in there? You think this isn't happening ever since then, over and over again, to the majority, the many called? That's what's happening over and over again. They don't want to hear from him. Don't be fooled. They don't want to hear from him. All right, they're snakes. Don't be fooled by them. They haven't said an honest, decent, heartful prayer about truth and wanting to hear from him in their whole entire life. And it's not likely that it's going to happen in the future. That would take a miracle to draw someone out of there, literally a miracle. It's going to take a miracle for someone to drop the globe earth too. But people can't see that, man. They can't see the insane hypocrisy that they teach, that they deceive the whole world with. And most of these Christians, most of them celebrated a few days ago. They celebrated darkness, paganism, death, foul spirits. They connect themselves to that because they're not of the truth. That's why. They like Halloween and they like going into those buildings and screaming their heads off, and scaring people and stuff. Total nonsense. They're glad and quick to savor and keep all of the Satan's days. So quick and eager to do that, but not, I don't know, don't tell me about his days. What is that? What is that all about? How come they want to keep Satan's days so badly? How come it's a law for them? When you repeat something over and over again, it's a law. Oh, it's Christmas. I got to get some presents and celebrate this and get our tree. So they're eager to celebrate Satan's days, but when it comes to his days, oh, we don't have to. Oh, that's no big deal. Forget about it. We wipe out the fourth commandment and pretend to keep the other 9. Don't tell anyone. We don't actually do that in spirit and truth either. Don't be deceived. That's not the only commandment we don't keep. We don't actually keep those in our heart. It's not possible for Satan, of the devil, that believes in trinities, to keep all those other commandments too. Don't tell anyone. Liars. And that's mostly what I found with YouTube. 99.9% of it is garbage, and they're all liars. Snakes, you know. And maybe there's some exceptions, but if they have 60,000 subscribers, they're likely snakes. Likely snakes. Like I said, there might be very few exceptions. You know, it's a wonder how someone could get that popular so fast. It's because they're entertaining, that's why. And devil's all about entertainment, not truth. They want to give you nice, entertaining videos, smooth words that make you feel good, and some good end time stuff that makes you feel good too. When they're already deceived and breaking his commandments, you're already of the devil and have the spiritual mark of the beast if you're not overcoming sin. You know, don't claim that you believe in Messiah and you don't do what the Messiah, you know, did, which is the Father's will, which is to keep his commandments. And then you claim you're of the truth and you follow Messiah. How? It must not be the true Messiah leading you. You know, if you follow wherever he's going, and that's what they claim, it must be a false Messiah that's leading you to the pit if you don't even remotely want to keep his commandments. So, and they don't have any intention to do that. They're pretenders. They're devils, snakes, just like those Pharisees were pretenders. The question is, why even believe or become a Bible believing Christian, all this stuff, right? Why even do that? Why pretend? Why not just go and live why do you have to pretend to be of the truth? Because that's what the devil wants. They're using them like puppets. They don't think these thoughts that I'm going to go and be a pretender today. And, you know, most of them, they don't think like that, or those thoughts don't come up in their mind that they're master deceivers and puppets and they're out to deceive people. But that's what they are. They just don't realize it. That's what being deceived means. It means you don't know you're deceived. It means you're full of lies and you don't even know it. That's the definition of deception. You don't know it. So you can't tell anyone that they're deceived. You can't do that to anybody because the beast is always right. The beast is never deceived about anything. It's perfect. They judge by appearance and smooth words and how much someone smiles. That's what the Satan does. That's what the devil does. You know, this person isn't smiling as much as that I think they should be. You know, he must be of the truth. Stay away from him. You know, I just don't vision or picture Messiah smiling when he was calling them hypocrites and devils. I'm pretty sure he didn't smile once when he said those words. I'm pretty confident about that too. And he sure as heck didn't smile when he flipped the tables over, which is what everyone is doing, corrupting the temple. Okay, because that's the temple. And they were exchanging stuff, and their intentions were all about the world and their own gain and popularity and fame and glory. In the temple, he flipped the table over. In your temple, most of you snakes out there, the YouTube channels, most of them, you know, they just want to make money and sell merchandise and become popular and do it all for their own glory. Okay, he flips the table over in their temples. It's over. You can't do that and also be of the truth. You can't have two masters. You literally can't. It's not possible. As soon as you have like two masters, supposedly, you're deceived and blinded and taken off the path. You're not of the truth. It's literally impossible to have two masters. It's not like a recommendation or optional. No, you're done. You're host. As far as being anything of the truth, you know, you're done. Judgment's coming. That's it. It's impossible. And you know, most of these YouTubers, their intentions behind the scenes is just to make a bunch of money and get popular and subscribe and like me, subscribe and like me, subscribe and like me, subscribe and like me. Why do you think they say that? So they can get more views, which means more money. It's not that hard to understand. More ads, monetize, more donations to go to their so-called ministry so they can get a better camera when it's already 1080p. Oh, I need a better camera. I need a studio behind my, you know, what's wrong with the window? Why do you need some like brick studio and be all fancy with a nice suit and tie and all this junk? Is that wrong all in itself? The clothes. No, but they make it wrong. They make it wrong because they're pretenders. They focus on the appearances and all that, how well the video's done. I got to trim it because if it's too long, people won't listen. I don't care. I haven't done that once on my videos. So what if I make a mistake or say something wrong? I'm not, literally perfect. I'm not trying to pose off as that way. Pretend I'm absolutely perfected, nothing, no work needs to be done in me anymore. I'm perfect. Look at my studio, look at my nice clothes and suit and tie and the bookshelf behind me. Yeah, I read a lot of books. Yeah. I'm pretty smart, that's why I sit in front of a bookshelf. Are there some exceptions? I'll leave some exceptions. I always leave some exceptions, but most of the time, if you see a bookshelf, turn the page. Most of the time, these teachers, they want to show you how many books they've read. They don't even believe the scriptures. When, if anything, it teaches to be wary of reading all these other books of the world, There's no end to all of that, He's going to give you the truth that you need, and that's it, Yeah, so I'm not too fond of bookshelves usually because I know their intentions. Now, will even one of those people, even one of them, let's say there's millions of them that do that, will even one of them admit that their intentions are false? Will they make me look like I'm crazy and jealous of them? Absolutely. All of them will. Not one will admit it. They can't because they're devils. All right. They can't admit anything wrong ever in their life. And they definitely aren't going to admit to all their thousands of subscribers that, yeah, I kind of have that bookshelf behind me to make my, puff myself up. You can trust me, a minister, Bible believing Christian. They won't admit it. I understand how these people work, how the devil works. He doesn't fool me. His devices don't fool me. Because I ask not to be fooled. That's why. So then I see it for what it is, and it's ugly. And sometimes I wish I couldn't see it, but I see it. It's ugly. It's nasty. They're false. Their intentions is just what the Messiah said, to seek their own glory. All the good they do, they do it to be seen by men. That's it. You're either that or you're of the truth. That's it. You're either that or you're of the truth. There's no middle ground. There's no like, I'm halfway. That's like the two master thing. There's no halfway. You're either that or you're not that. That's it. Are people going to agree with what I just said? No, but I've been given to see it, and I'm not going to change my mind on it. I know that's true, and I know it lines up with scripture, and I can see it, that you're either that or you're not. Black and white. You're either seeking your own glory and doing it for self and some kind of self gain and worldly gain, or you're not. That's it. I could care less if the whole entire world disagreed with that. I'd still stick with it because I know it's true. Why would the devils in this world have them be right about something? Why would the majority be right or admit their problems? They wouldn't. You think like Trump or Biden are going to just start admitting all the lies they've said in the past? They can't do that. Can't you see that? Both of them, not just one. I'm not being partial. They can't admit that they lie ever, unless it's something like really stupid and like, oh, I made a mistake, slurred my words, whatever. For the most part, no one can admit that they're just lying all the time. They're good actors. Well, Joe Biden's not a very good actor, but it's all insane. Can't you see how insane this world is? 77 years old, slurring, might be brain dead within a few months, or he might die shortly. And supposedly the election is delayed because looks like Biden, has an edge. And now the fraud thing that they all claimed of and were warning of for years is happened, supposedly. Right? They said this was going to happen. It's all part of their nasty, wicked agenda. But people are sucking right into it and never step back and see the whole picture. They actually believe everything that goes on, every little detail. That's true, yeah. They want this chaos. They want disorder. It's through chaos that they get power. It's what their motto is. What is it? Peace through chaos, or whatever it is. I don't know. I can't think of it right now, but something to do with chaos. And they have their symbols and their numbers, 13. Over and over, you're going to see 13 everywhere, 13 and 33. As I've seen a lot of times when you hear 33 something in the media, it's the hoax number. Doesn't matter what you want to call them, Freemasons, whatever. Okay, they pulled off another hoax. Hillary, 33,000 emails. Okay, not a coincidence. And one of the speeches just not long ago Trump did, he mentioned 33 something. It just happens to be 33. In fact, I've even predicted before they even comes out of their mouth. I've done that before. Like, they're ready to say something. I'm like, I bet it's 33 something. Boom, 33 something. What are the odds of that? What are the odds of that? Predicting it without having any clue. Because I know, I can see it. 13 and 33, and one of their favorite two numbers, man. And I believe 13 has to do with rebellion, Satan. 33, I'm not sure if it's a mockery of some sort, but the way they use it, it's usually like some kind of lie or hoax or twisting of the truth. And they love it. They love that number. It's not a coincidence that there's 33 degrees, for whatever. 33rd degree Masons. They use it everywhere. It's in the movies. It's in TV shows everywhere. Constantly. People can't see it though. Like, here's our signature. The elite gave you this movie, we own them, and we tell you what truth is and get you ready for whatever's coming and brainwash you. That's what they do with their numbers and symbols over and over again. I'm trying to think of more 33 examples. There's been many. You'll see it on food items too. 33 grams of sugar, 33% savings, 33% larger cereal box, 33. Wake up. It's not a coincidence. You see it everywhere. You know, 33%, you'll see that a lot. It just has to be 33, right? Always 33. Bluetooth devices. The range in feet, 33 feet. Coincidence? Will it go to 50 feet? Yeah, it'll go to 50 feet. Very likely, or 40. So why do they put 33 when most of them go further than that? Snakes. Telling you, man, it's everywhere. It's more than even I know. That number 33 and 13. It's everywhere. The question is, what does it mean? Well, it's definitely satanic. That's what it is. It's definitely the leaders of this world telling you. That's like their signature, like, we own you. Rockstar has the same symbol as that star on Israel's flag. Same satanic star, Rockstar. Okay, it's pagan. It's connected to the devil. That's why it's so popular. Monster has 666 on it. That's why those are like the two most popular energy drinks, because they're satanic and their symbols are satanic. You know, there's so much out there. And then they deny it. And then they make people look like insane when it's so obvious. Some of these things are so painfully obvious. Dark can, black, unleash the beast. Oh no, it's not. It's not 666. It's an M. No, it's not. 3 distinct numbers. Slightly different than like the modern Hebrew, but it is. It is the number 6. That's what it is. And that's why it's not connected, and that's why it doesn't look like an M. It's because it is 666. It's not a conspiracy, it's a fact. And unleash the beast is not a coincidence. That's why this whole freedom thing, like the people have the power, have it your way, Burger King, it's a joke. You think Satan wants you to have it your way? In his way, you can have your way. As long as it's his way, you can have your way. If freedom means freedom to sin as much as you want, then yeah, you have freedom. What is Trump? Trump is like a false messiah, false savior that's going to believe and get everyone thinking everything's getting better and it's good, while all kinds of nasty stuff is happening in the meantime. Just to keep everyone brainwashed and delusional, to keep them thinking like, oh yeah, America, 500 more years, baby, make it great again. It's a major deception. Major deception. And these people are saying like, oh, he's of God, anointed. Okay, when a Trinitarian says that, I don't need to listen. All the Trinitarians out in the world, oh, he's anointed, he's by God. And they like worship him. Yeah, of course he is. Everyone is. Anyone that has power has been given and placed by our Father for a purpose, whether they're, most of them are all devils, of course, but, sure. Yeah, he's so was Obama, so was every president. Otherwise, they wouldn't have had the power if the Father didn't give them the power. That's what Messiah said. You can't do anything to me. You don't have any such power unless the Father gives you it. Interesting how he didn't even directly reply. I have the power to release you or kill you. And he said, you have no such power unless the Father's will gives you that power to do that. Pretty cool, pretty bold like a lion, man. Just tell him right in your face, you got no power. You're nothing. You're a worm. But the Father has given you power. Just know where you got it from. Don't get too prideful. Don't get too puffed up. Don't get too puffed up, Mr. you know, Pilate. And Pilate was the one that said, "What is truth?" Anyways, it's a pretty typical pagan response or unbeliever response. What is truth? You know, that's pretty interesting too. Mentioning something about truth, and then Pilate goes, "What is truth?" Anyways, what is truth? Well, yeah, you wouldn't know because you can't hear him. You just hear satanic voices in your head. You don't even have your own thoughts. All these people screaming and cheering and jumping up and down, they were brainwashed to do that. We're going to teach the kids in schools to become prideful, self-righteous beasts and worship the flag and honor our country and go to war if we need to. We're going to teach them to be patriotic. I know why that sounds good and people like that. I get it. But here's the translation. We're going to brainwash your kids, teach you a bunch of lies, won't give you true history. We'll twist the history big time at the very least. We'll make you love the beast system and you're captured by it and you're sucked in by it and you can't come out of it. That's the translation for that. And they think it's a joke, man. That's why there are hardly any true believers out there. They think it's a joke, come out of her, my people. You can't have any connection to the beast system. You can't be a part of it. You can't be of it. So then the ones that supposedly expose some people, they're hypocritical because they're not out of the beast system themselves and they like it and they like the benefits that they reap from it, but then they're out exposing it. Something's wrong with that. It's like rock stars, pop stars exposing the Illuminati. We're exposing evil while they're being fed by it, while they become millionaire, billionaire, popular, famous, rich, powerful. We're exposing it. Give me a break. They told them to do that. You got to suck everybody in. You have to understand that. You can't let a group become one and together. That's power. The devil doesn't want any kind of group, so he just keeps dividing. Divide it. So the devil goes, "Oh, how can I divide this?" A lot of people seem to be getting the sense that my system is fraudulent. It's like a pyramid scheme and evil people run it. So how am I gonna get these people, to continue in my system? Well, I'm gonna pump out some rock stars and some pop stars that expose the system, and then they're sucked in and they worship a bunch of devils that pretend that they're against the system and they're not. That's how I did it. What do you think of that, Satan? What do you think of that? I know your tricks, snake, but even he has to go into the lake of fire too and be whipped, chastised. So it's a messed up, crooked world. Bunch of deceivers, bunch of people believing in false deities. You can't have any other gods, Elohims before you. Over and over again. If you don't believe in the Creator, the Father as the Creator, the only true Creator, the only true God, then you're deceived. And that's what one of the devil's tricks was from the beginning, is get the Christianity to get into Trinitarian nonsense. Then they won't have the truth. And then that light goes away like it just did right now, kind of faded out. Well, I guess we'll see what goes on with this election thing. I see it more of as entertainment than anything else. Let's be entertained. while the actors all do what they need to do, Sad world we live in. There's going to be a lot to crumble, a lot to destroy. It's really twisted and messed up. Now, it's been like this for thousands of years. Don't think that it runs this deep. It does. Or don't think it doesn't run this deep. All the divisions. This is the work of thousands of years of the devil having his way with the world. And he doesn't want anything more than except that you bow and worship him, even if it's not with self-knowledge. It doesn't have to be. You bow and worship him when you're not worshiping the true creator. You've automatically bowed and worshiped and love his beast system and love this world of which you're commanded not to love or any of the things in it. It must be really corrupt for him to give us that command not to love any of the things in it. Must be pretty darn corrupt, and he must have knew it. Yeah, he knew it. It was deceived back then. It was deceived 500 years later. It was deceived 500 years ago. It's deceived right now. It'll be deceived tomorrow. It'll be deceived in a few years from now. It's always deceived. So they don't even understand Revelation, even remotely, that it's for them to come out of the beast system that always exists. You always have to come out of it. 500 years ago, you had to come out of it. They don't get it. They're not seeing it. They're like the pretenders, exposing the evil, but they're being fed by it. They're not biting the hand that feeds. Not really. Of course not. And the test, when it comes, it'll prove it. It'll prove everything I'm saying is true. There's going to come a time where people are going to be tested, and it's going to finally physically manifest itself and prove that all the people in the ages past, the so-called believers, would have gathered with the tares and have fell for it when the testing comes. They would have done that. But it's going to be manifested, and the whole world will do it, save the very few elect. Save the few elect. Whatever it is, the Antichrist spirit, all the divisions of it will be drawn to it, because they're all, even if they hate each other, it's still Antichrist spirit. They're going to fall for it, be joined to it, become one with it. It seems like there's so much truth for people to learn that's like, where do you even start? Is there even any time left for that? For someone becoming a believer, new believer now? I don't know. I suppose so, but because the Father's going to have to work quickly in new believers. They don't have 20, 30 years to go through and be chastised. They got to go through this pretty quick. That process of being chastised. It would help if they had a true teacher that has truth. That would greatly help them, assuming that they are of the truth. It would definitely help. Of which I claim there's very few. There's not too many out there. And all you have to do is be way off on just one thing. I keep all the commandments. Oh, but you love riches. And he walked away sad. Oops. I guess you weren't perfect. I guess you weren't seeking the kingdom first above everything else. You loved riches, which means you love this world, which means you had pride, which means you're self-righteous, which means, and most of these YouTubers out there, that's who they are. So there's people out there that might look pretty good, close to the truth, and then they're way off on one thing. I'm just saying that they exist. I'm not saying who they are or anything, but they exist, though. These people exist too. Judases exist, people who look like they come out of Her My People. like an actual disciple, not like a Trinitarian or somebody that's obviously false, but, you know, Judas walking with the Messiah, looking like a disciple coming out of her, right? And then even that's false. Those exist too. Those exist too. So I think that's it. These are nasty doctrines. Trinity, glow birth, and many others. They haven't exorcised those devil spirits by still believing in these things and living it. Never asking for confirmation. There's no connection. They can't hear him. They're not being taught by him, which is a trademark of the true believers. They're taught by the Father, because Messiah said all of them, they shall all be taught by the Father, just like he was. He learned through his suffering. He was taught by the Father, not going through school like so many get fooled. These are theologians. Thousands of years they've studied these things, and put commentaries in them and went to school for 10 years. They actually buy it. They buy it. That's why the wise are confounded by the simple. They can't believe that. They don't actually believe those words in scriptures, that the wise are confounded by the simple. Because the Father makes them stupid, contradicting, and blind for the elect's sake, so that they can go, look, contradicting, stupid, and blind. I was taught by the Father, and you weren't. I don't care how much school you have. You're a liar. They can't believe that. That's too much for them. They don't believe you. Just like the Pharisees couldn't believe in the Messiah. They can't do it. They're just going to call you devil, demons. He has demons. And when it gets worse and worse as the time goes on, the whole world's going to be against the true believers like this. They're just going to think they're demon possessed for being against the world, because they love the world. If you're not of him, and you don't have his spirit, which is a very narrow path, you love the world. No exceptions. So there's a lot of pretenders out there that pretend they don't love the world, but they do still. That's it for this one. Peace.